McCauley at Pray It Off in Syracuse, New York. This session, we are talking about aging well. And part of aging well is having some really good, smart, healthy habits. Now, I have to admit, guys, that sometimes I do feel like Charlie Brown's teacher. Because, like, I'll say something, and then next week I'll say, remember I talked about that last week? And somebody will be like, you did? You know, I feel like I'm up here going, blah, 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 eat less, blah, 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 move more. I just think people are like, what do I have for dinner later? I don't know. But the thing is, one thing I know, and you can take it to the bank and cash it, without Pray It Off, I would have gone on that cruise, I would have gained weight, and I would have come back and gained more weight. The first thing I did was go to the gym. The first thing I did was get right back in the saddle. Because if you do not get back in the saddle when you zig, you're in trouble. Everyone agree with me?
Oh, yeah.
We're in trouble. So we need to have these healthy habits. And you know, I always said, when I used to be bad, I was horrid. And now I'm not as bad as I could be. We never had lunch because we would have like a breakfast, a brunch or whatever. We couldn't eat lunch. We were too full for breakfast. And then we'd have dinner. I never went and started filling up baggies with cookies. I never had late night pizza. I never went to the midnight buffet. Because to me, that's overindulging. Did I have a fantastic time? Absolutely. But my time wasn't food driven. There are people whose cruises are food driven. Ever see? Yeah. Oh, 3 or 4 plates. I'm amazed. But the healthy habits you learn, eating more veggies. And those of you who are out there going, I don't like vegetables. I want to say you're 75 years old. Eat your vegetables, okay? Put more fish on your dish, not fish sticks, fish, not fried fish, fish, okay? Make fiber your friend. And remember, fiber can be berries. Like for breakfast, today I had this bowl of strawberries, blueberries, and watermelon that was to die for. It tasted so delicious, and it was practically free. Also, choose water for the win. We're going to talk about water again tonight because I have to admit, when I was on the cruise, I didn't drink as much water as I normally do in real life. I felt it. Felt bloated, felt the sodium. I came back from the cruise and I was living in the bathroom, just getting rid of that water, getting rid of that sodium. And if your pee, and I'm going to be honest with you, if your pee is yellow, you're not drinking enough water. And people say, well, mine's kind of light yellow. Well, I think it should be clear. And that means you're drinking 8-ounce glasses of water a day. Also, people are going to go home. Yeah, we talked about pee tonight, honey. Yeah. Also, make time for tea. And I'm talking unsweetened green tea. And you can get decaffeinated. Because I don't know about you, but I cannot have that caffeinated. Oh, I get too. But unsweetened green tea can be delicious. Restrict your eating hours. This is huge. One of the things that's kept me going and Pray It Off is I do not snack. Snacking is a person with weight issues downfall. I'm just going to have 1 Reese's peanut butter cup. I'm going to have 1 cookie. You're a liar. We lie to ourselves. We can't have 1. So you have better to have none or have it as part of your dinner as your dessert. Also, take a stand. Boy, when I'm substitute teacher, I never sit down once. I get home and my legs. We had this teacher, Mrs. Pearson. She sat the entire time. She was also like 80 years old and she was still teaching. But I still remember her sitting behind the desk. She was the only one. Every other teacher stood up. Wake up and walk. Another saving grace that I have is I like my exercise nice and early. I don't know about you guys, but come 6 or 7 at night, it's more like, I don't want to exercise. So you might say, well, I can't get up early. You force yourself, you train yourself, you make yourself have a healthy habit, okay? And then a backup plan. I've had people say, well, it's going to go for a walk, but it rained. Really? You can't go to Destiny and walk around there? You can't go to West Genesee where they have a walking program there? Also stretching. I have given out more stretches. So if people don't know how to stretch, call me. I'll stretch you out, okay? Also, releasing that daily tension. A couple of people told me they gained weight over the political election. Now, I have gained weight in my life, but I've never thought to use that excuse. That's a good one. I'm going to give you some creativity on that. But the thing is, Kamala was not eating. Well, maybe she was, but she looks pretty thin to me. Maybe Donald was eating, but Kamala wasn't. Here's the thing. The only thing that really lets go of daily tension is, what's number one, everybody?
Pray.
Pray. Number one, exercise. And here's the big one, everyone. Let it go. Let it go. There's a couple people I wanted to come to my, Veterans Day event, and they had other plans. It kind of hurt my feelings, but not you guys, because I expect you all to be there. But a couple of other people. I had to do this. Let it go. And it's not easy for Ellen, but she's getting better at it. Also, discuss it. See, that's what's good about being married, having a best friend, having a relative, or my mother, God rest her soul, because I would go, can you believe that happened? Can you believe they're not going? I would do that for them. I would be there for them. And then the other person is like, you are so right. Don't discuss it with someone who isn't going to agree with you. If you have someone like that, you just say, I got to go now, okay? Now, if you want someone to agree with you, if you say, I really want to murder my husband, who will agree with me? Call me. I'll agree. I'm like, I don't blame you. I want to kill him too. All right, I'm just suggesting you don't, but head outside. I'm telling you, one of the best things about that 10-day cruise was being outside. I love being outside. I love the fresh air. And also, muscle up your TV time. If you're watching TV, there's no reason you can't get up and pump a few weights. There's no reason you can't stretch. There's no reason you can't march in place. You're watching TV. If someone got a gun to your head saying, you will not move. You will sit in that lazy boy till you fall asleep. And then back in the old days, that little round thing would go, remember? All right, and they'd sing the national anthem. Also, practice breathing. I mean, we've done whole sessions on breathing. You breathe. Also, don't compare your progress with anyone else. Don't hate Katie because you lost 20 pounds. What you do is you say, man, if that darn Katie can lose 20 pounds, why can't I get off my duff and lose 1? I'm not going to hate Katie. I'm going to ask her what her secret is. Because let me tell you something. No one's worrying about you. No one, like if you're out there like, oh, I'm worried about this one. They're not worried about you. Also, create a relaxation spot in your home. If your food log that you hand in has food all over it, it means you don't have enough counter space. Now, you're laughing, and I don't want you to raise your hand, anyone, but there are several people who hand in their food logs every week with food on it. I'm not going to name names, but it's true. Also, practice screen-free evenings. We did not watch TV once on the cruise. 10 days. Look at me. I survived. I will survive. And we had a great time. Also, volunteer your time. I know I don't get paid. I get paid to substitute teach, but part of me still thinks of that as volunteer work because it's a tough job. Phone a friend. People text too much. I had this one person that I called and she goes, oh, I really don't like talking on the phone. Do you mind if we text?
Oh. Yes. Wow.
And I'm like, I like talking on the phone. I like hearing that voice. Did you ever get a text and you go, I can't believe they said that? And they didn't mean anything bad by it, but sometimes you read a text and it looks bad. God forbid you voice text and don't correct it. Oh, be careful about that, okay? Also, add bath time before bedtime. I've told this story before, but I have traumatic stress syndrome from taking a bath, because in 1995, when I was not 41 years old and 9 months pregnant, I said to Bob, I think I'll take a bath because I have to shave my legs before I go in to have the baby tomorrow. So it's easier to shave my legs than when taking a bath. I could not get out. Bob is a big guy, but don't forget, I was 9 months pregnant and I was a big girl, big girl. So I said, I prayed, Lord Jesus Christ, don't make cute firemen come and haul my butt out of this tub. I'm begging you, Jesus. So he did, I did get up. But ever since then, I've been afraid to take a bath. Do you blame me? Also, crank up the tunes. You cannot, you can't have enough with tunes. Which reminds me, my 9-year-old nephew, great nephew, went on the cruise. So he knocks on my door and he says, hey, Ellen, tonight there's this contest where there's a kid and an adult. Can we try out and then you and I can do it together? I'm like, what the heck? And guess what you had to do to be picked? Enthusiastic. Hello! So I'm like, pick us! And of course they picked us. So in order to pass the first round, you had to sing a song. So this girl's over there, she's going, you are my sunshine, my... So she goes, now it's your turn. I went, first I was afraid, I was petrified. I sang the whole song and people were going crazy. And then I started singing Sweet Caroline and the whole crowd was joining in. So needless to say, we got picked. But the funniest part about that is one of the questions they asked Jasper. Now Jasper's 9 years old. He's got us as his great aunt and uncle. Everyone who he's around is old. His grandmother, his grandfather. So they said, what do you want to be when you grow up? He brought the house down. He said, retired. And just about everybody in the audience was retired. They died. And then the cruise director's like, I love it. He wants to go straight through to retire. But cranking up the tunes and having a good time, that's what it's all about. And then it says, play some mind games. Well, every day I do the Wordle, the Waffle, the Squirtle, the Mini, the Nerdle, and Connections. And you might say, Ellen, how long does that take you? If it takes me more than 10 minutes, it doesn't. I love doing these little mind games. Beef up your vocabulary. If there is a word I don't know, I look it up. Reading is fundamental. I had more fun on that cruise, and guess what? I read 3 books. And you're going to be like, what? When did you read a book? Well, there's all these bus trips to, from Albany to New York. You can't have a good conversation. The bus is too loud. I read a book then. So I read 3 good books. Practice gratitude, and no matter what. Oh, people are pooping their pants. Oh, America. Oh, we're in trouble. You know what I say to people like that? Why don't you put your hands together and say, Lord, it's in your hands. Be grateful, and you pray about it. There's nothing we can do but pray. Commit to a full night's sleep. Last night at 8:30, I said to Bob, I'm ready. How about you? And he goes, yeah, let's go. I had the best night's sleep. I got up early, went to the gym. Address sleep apnea. If your significant other is snoring, you get their butts to the sleep study, okay? If you're snoring, get your butt there, okay? And shake up your routine. Nothing like a trip to shake up your routine. Know your numbers. My blood pressure's always been good. 371, blood pressure good. But every first day, November 1st, well, this time I did it November 4th because I was away, but October, the first day of the month, I take my blood pressure. And it's always like, 108/62 or something like that. But one of these days, what if it wasn't? So it doesn't hurt to take it once a month. Or if you have trouble, take it more. So you should know your numbers. And another, if you've lost 20, 30, 40 pounds and you're on medications, doctors, you think they pay attention? You think they're going to say, you know what? I think maybe instead of 10 milligrams, you should take 5 milligrams. Just because you're on a med doesn't mean you have to be on it forever, unless you've got a genetic thing. That's not what I'm talking about. But if you've got weight-related high blood pressure or something of that nature, then you can take care of it. Also, cold and flu season, get those vaccines. Medical appointments, make sure you're all up to date on that. Also, take a really good look at yourself. If you don't look at your body, no one else is going to. If you've got a bump or a bruise or something, keep an eye on it. Also, your teeth. There's so many people who do not brush their teeth. Anybody in this room not brush their teeth? Raise your hand. I'm only kidding. Who's going to raise their hand? The thing is, that is so critical. And people think once at night, I'm telling you, 3 times a day at least. Now, I do have a friend who brushes her teeth 15 times a day. I think that's a little bit much. Anything you do can be too much. Stopping right there, Bobby.